Welcome back to the hyperbolic coding chamber. Here we are. Difficulty is increasing. Difficulty is increasing. Difficulty is definitely increasing. I'm fairly certain I'm being overstimulated day throughout the week, which is making the sessions more difficult. So particularly not this whole week, but today's session is especially difficult. And I haven't had a session that was this difficult in terms of stepping up to the plate to show up in a very long time. Maybe around like day 60. It was like almost 100 days ago or something like that. So it just goes to show, really got to keep the stimulation in check. Otherwise, it just becomes impossible to do anything for me, it becomes impossible to do anything like productive. So yeah, I guess I got to go back hardcore. I've been taking some of the blocks off of my devices. So I've been browsing hacker news for hours on end. And then I guess this morning, it's interesting because this morning I woke up. I usually keep my phone away from my bed, specifically because I just grab it and end up scrolling the whole time and I never got to bed. So I moved it away. Last night I didn't do that. So today I woke up and I just browsed hacker news for a really long time. And then somehow I ended up on Reddit. And then, yeah. After that was like 2 hours of browsing. And then I got out of bed. And I finally started to get to work. Then I did like an hour of review. But even the review was just kind of foggy. Yeah, I guess a lot of just brain fog, I guess. It's just a foggy time. So I think I just need to bring down the stimulation and then get back to staying focused so that progress can be made. But always interesting. Making sure the ship leaves the port is you never stop worrying about that. So yeah, I would say, and that's why there was no comment review yesterday. It was kind of hard to do the session, so I was like, I'm just going to jump into it and get to work. But today, there will be comment review, and we do have legendary comments from the great minds over at the Hyperbolic Coding Chamber. We have a comment from Tree Stars with a legendary profile picture, that Ash. True. Oh yeah, we're working on an Ash problem. That was probably also why the session was difficult. Or why, yeah, that problem made me never want to do LeetCode again. But we should be able to solve it today if we don't have too much brain fog. But yeah, it's just been very foggy. Oh yeah, we have a comment from Island Eagle. Where's the comment review? I failed the chamber, man. I failed this. So I'll try to keep up with it this time, so we don't fall out of whack. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck would? So I just finished that one, and I would say that I fried it. But yeah, always good to make sure that our vocal muscles are working correctly from Island Eagle themselves. And we have Jordan the CS with a pretty cool name, also a pretty cool profile picture. I was planning on doing one LeetCode question a day, but I haven't gotten myself to start yet. Great content. Go for it. You can do it, brother, and it will take you far less time than it has taken me. Brain broke machine. And then we have a comment from Bugadada. My brother in Christ, please don't cover the problem with a cam. Does that happen? Should we move our camera? Let me move it. If this is this the ideal camera position? LeetCode is usually on this side. The code is on this side. Maybe right here is the ideal position. You know what? Let's try that. But it feels uncomfortable since I'm facing. I feel like the face should be facing the content. So what if I flip this? Whoa, this is kind of meta. Okay, let's try this one for today. So we'll try this one. And yeah, you guys can let me know if that is Pog or Dog. And then we have one more from Island Eagle. Pad Kid poured curd pulled cod. Indeed he did. But did he enjoy it? So, yeah, we're back once again. I don't know how long of a session we're going to do. My brain is telling me to stop it and get some help. It really wants me to stop. But I feel like I must fight the resistance and commit anyway. We have to do an hour anyway. Because my brain doesn't want to, so we have to double it. I was going to do like in my head to get myself. I guess I tricked myself. I scammed myself. I said if I got in front of the camera, I was just going to do 20 minutes to 25. Now that I'm sitting here, I'm going to scam myself. We're going to double it. We're going to try and do an hour. We'll see if we make it all the way through. But it must be done. Evil must be fought against, and someone has to stop LeetCode. So that is what we're going to do. So we're working on a problem called Timo attacking, and we had significant brain fog. I still have brain fog today, to be honest. My thoughts just aren't very clear. Usually sometimes there's a clarity that makes solving problems easier, and that's kind of one reason why I like doing LeetCode later in the day. After a while, it doesn't feel like your brain's started up yet. But after a whole day of stimulation, it's just really hard to be like, I'm going to do something that's hard. Because after the whole day of, living in pleasure, it's just really difficult to say, I'm not going to live in suffering. So that's another reason why I have to do it in the morning. But I digress. We must begin. My throat is chapped. My lips are chapped. My code is chapped. But the hyperbolic coding chamber is cracked. So make sure to join the hyperbolic coding chamber because they are growing very quickly and we have no affiliation, but you should join. So we're just going to jump into it. A problem called Timo attacking. It's basically a League of Legends problem. And we basically just have to code Timo's poison stun. And it's pretty much, we're given an array as a time series where each number in the array serves as a point where Ash was hit with a poison dart. And we're given a number which is the duration of the poison, and we're supposed to return the poison duration. And so for example, we're given an array here, right, with t equals 1, 4, right? So that means Ash is hit at t equals 1, and the duration of poison is always going to be 2. So Ash is hit on this t, right? Now t is equal to 2, right? Ash is still in the poison duration, right? Now t equals 3. Ash is no longer in the poison duration. Or we could just say 2 and 3, they are in the poison duration. And then we get to t equals 4, but we end there. Right, wait a second. Oh, right. Wait. 1, 2. Ash is poison for seconds 4 and 5. Oh, so even if it's not, okay. Okay, so we just have to make sure to add the remainder at the end. So let's see what we have so far. It seems like our output for this one is, our output is 1. I was hoping our output would be 2. So we really just have to fix case 1. We need to get this to say 2. Why doesn't it say 2? It says 1 right now. So tick starts at 0. T hit is equal to 0. And this might be just easier if we just call it poison duration. Might be easier if we just call this poison duration. And then now it's easier to see what we're talking about. It could be time series sub 0 plus duration. While t index is less than time series dot length. I feel like there's so many different ways to solve this that my mind just can't sit down and look at one of them. We're seeing while t index is less than time series dot length. This is a confusing way of doing it because t index sub is going to be equal to sub 1, which is 1. Tick is not going to be, because we want the overlapping inner index, the inner range, right? So if Ash is hit at t equals 1, she can only take damage between t equals 1 and the next duration, which is not greater than the time stopping. I think so. You should be able to do this in linear time with constant space. So I think I'm going to throw all this garbage out and just start over. The version that I was trying to do is just way too confusing. I think it makes more sense to have something like this where tick equals 0. Actually, we end up with the same thing I just deleted. Yeah, it's while tick goes up. If tick is greater than or equal to time series of index, and tick is less than or equal to t poison stop, you can do poison duration plus equals 1, so then we'll have 1. Then we'll say tick is equal to time series sub t index. Is it? Well, it would be. Actually, it wouldn't. This tick would be 0 to start, do tick plus equals 1. Right, and t index is still less than 2. You'd say, okay, is tick greater than t index greater than or equal to 1? Yes, and is tick less than or equal to poison stop? Yeah, so we do poison duration plus equals 1. Now, does tick equal time series of index? It does. And if we restart, we'll start with 0. Tick is not greater than or equal to 1, and tick is not less. 0 is not less than negative infinity. So tick equals let's tick, which is 0, equal time series of index. It doesn't, so we do tick plus equals 1. Right now, tick is tick greater than or equal to time series of index, which is 1. It is, and tick is less than or equal to t poison stop. It is not. So poison duration does not plus equal 1. But tick is equal to time series sub t index. So t index plus equals 1. So t index will now be 1. And t poison is going to be equal to 1 plus 2, which is 3. And tick plus equals 1. So now t index is going to be 1. It's still less than 2. Now we're going to say, is tick greater than or tick, which is 2, is it greater than or equal the time series sub t index, it's not greater than or equal to time series sub t index. It's not greater than or equal to time series sub t index. I think I'm trying to work too closely with the implementation. I haven't really thought of a strategy yet. I guess my strategy was to mimic game dev programming and just have a tick that's always going up. Maybe that's really ghetto though. I feel like it's easier to do something where we have the time series in a map and tick is always going up. Or tick will stop at the maximum number in the time series. Yeah, I don't understand why this problem is so confusing to me. Something is really confusing about this problem. I guess let me think of an actual, we're given the points where Ash is hit as a time series. So maybe based on the information we're given, we shouldn't do something where we count up. Maybe we should just load the time series into a data structure. I guess I was trying to make a simulation. Maybe we shouldn't simulate it. What if we treated it more like, what if we turn the time series where Ash is hit by the poison into instead time series Ash is hit. What if we turned it instead into an array of when the poison stops? So then we'd have an array that looks something more like this: 3 and 6. So we'd have something like this where we'd have Ash was hit at 1, the poison stops at 3. It means the damage she took is 2. And then we'd have something like this where Ash is hit at 4 and the damage she took, the poison stops at 6. So she was poisoned for 4 total seconds. If we do the same thing for this one down here, where we'll turn this array, and the duration is also 2, to something like 1, right? Then we need to add 2 to it. So I have 3. We need to have 2. Add 2 to it. So we'll have 4. If we do 3 minus 1, we get 2, and 4 minus 2. We get 4. Ah, right. Now we can treat it like intervals. Now we can just treat each. Now we can just treat it like an interval, right? Because 3 is greater than 2, and so what we actually end up doing here is instead of using 2, we use 3. So we get 1 minus 3, which is 2, and then 4 minus 3, which is 1, which gives us an output of 3. So what we can just do is create an array. Once we have time series, what we can do is just create an array of intervals while Ash is poisoned. So it's going to turn the time series into intervals. And then once we have intervals, we can just use an interval algorithm to calculate the duration that she was hit. So I think we can delete all of this nonsense. The question is, do we have to explicitly create this array of intervals, or can we just use it implicitly? So one way we could do it is we can just we have 1, right? So it's important to note that 3 and 4 sort of don't exist. What we really have in the array is 1 and 2. So when we're iterating through the array, what we'll do is we'll have 1, which would be our start interval, right? Which is going to be 1. And then we're going to go forward, right? And what we have to check, right, is if we have to take the largest end interval. And we have 2 choices. It's either when Ash was hit plus duration, which is 3, or the next number, which is 2. And then we can do 3 minus 1 will give us 2. Then go to the next number. Yeah, so I think what we want to do is the interval thing. Now we can think about the implementation. Then we could use a stack where maybe what starts in the stack is the first element. And then here we can make our choice. The next element is either 3. The next element is either 1 plus the current element in this, the end element in the stack plus duration, which is 3, or 2. Then we'll take the largest, we'll take that number minus 1. Right? And then I have, from there, the question is, should we add 3 into the stack? It does make sense to add 3 into the stack because that's where the time would technically be at. So here, we don't want to, I don't think we want to do the thing where we add 2 because it doesn't make sense. Yes, when do we know that I guess maybe what we don't want in the stack, maybe the stack doesn't represent the intervals. The stack could represent the stack represents the end of intervals. So what we actually are doing is iterating over the array of the time series, and we'll take 1 plus 2, right? Or 1 plus 2, right? Or the next element in the time series. And we take the largest one, so we take 3. Then we go to the next number in the array of times in the array of time series. We can either take but either, okay, I think I see it. So we iterate over the array of time series. What the stack represents is the end intervals. Reps and intervals. So we're at 1, and we say, okay, what's larger? 1 plus 2. What is the larger end duration? Is larger end duration, or an action set plus a duration of when it will end, which would be 3, or is it 2? The last poison end interval. Represents the end intervals. So you say 1 plus 2 would get 3. Then we do 3 minus 1 to add to the poison duration, which would be 2. I think what the stack represents is the latest poison end time. Which is why we take the larger one. So if we look at 1, when will our poison end? It would end 2 seconds from now, which is 3, right? So then we go to 2. And so we go to 3, and so we'd say, okay, well, we would do 3 minus 1 as our poison duration, right, which would give us 2. And then we would say, okay, well, when would our poison end? Do we want to use 3 again? Well, we want to use 3, but when our poison would actually stop would actually be 2 plus 4. And since it represents the latest poison end time, it kind of represents when you can start getting when you can start taking poison damage again. Which is why we do 4 minus 3. So you get 1, and then our new latest poison time would be 4. And let's just say if we had something like this, 5. Latest poison end time. So I can't say that I completely understand this implementation, but I think it can work. T of time series, and I think the stack stack might have to start with an element. So we could say the stack starts with time series sub 0 plus duration. Then we could say the number that goes into the stack is going to be stack.push the math.max. And we actually can't do it like this. We do I is equal to 0, I is less than time series dot length minus 1, I plus plus. Let t equals time series sub I. And we'll take the max of t, or stack dot length minus 1. Do Poisson duration is equal to plus equal the absolute value of stack sub stack dot length stack sub stack dot length minus 1 and t. I mean minus t. So we do stack dot push max t. So what do we push onto the stack? We end up pushing 3 onto the stack. Then we do 3 minus t to get Poisson duration equals 2. And then we would stop there. And then I think the last thing we'd want to do is do Poisson duration plus equal time series sub time series dot length minus 1 minus duration. I mean minus stack sub stack dot length minus 1. Because then we'd end at 3, and then our last time in the thing is 4, so 4 minus 3 would give us 3. Oh, the output's supposed to be 2. Oh no, yeah, that is fine actually. I messed up. Time series sub time series dot length minus 1 plus duration. Actually, I think we could fix this if I just remove this minus 1. We have time. Wait, what is going on? Just want to take t, or is when the Poisson would end. So let me say, okay, when would the Poisson take the t plus duration? Oh, I think I did it wrong. It should be t plus duration up here. So we're at 1 push on the stack, t, which is 1, plus duration, which is 3, or you get 3. We do stack sub stack dot length minus t. Then we get to the next t. Into here is supposed to be 3. Right, so we'd say stack dot push max of t plus duration, which is 4. We'd say 4 minus I think this is confused. Already has 3 in it. So we don't need to do this pushing thing. Also, this should probably happen after. Say poison plus equals duration of stacks, which is 3 minus t, which is 1, you get 2. That means what do we want to push on then? T plus duration then we go to 2. Poison duration plus equals math dot absolute value stack sub stack dot length minus 1, which is 3. What is going on? Next time the stack represents the next time the poison can end. Stack represents when poison ends. Poison is the new time it can end changes when t changes. If we go to 1, math dot absolute value of stack sub stack dot length minus 1, the last element in the stack, which is 3 minus t, gives you 2. When we go to the next index, t is now equal to 2. But the new time the poison can end is now 3. So we'd say math dot ab stack sub stack dot length stack represents when the poison ends. Poison would end at t equals 3. It's not even a stack, really. It's just an array or a variable at this point. Poison ends at 3. The poison ends at 3. We do 3 minus t to get 2. Now t is equal to 2. So we say poison duration is going to equal to 3 minus t, which is 0. Poison end equals 3 t times series of I times series of I is equal to 1. 3 minus 1 equals 2. Then we set poison end equals t plus duration. Maybe we should just set this to 0 or something. We say time series of I is equal to t. Poison duration plus equals method value of poison end 0 minus t would actually be -1. Poison end now equals t plus duration, which would be 3. The next index, we'd say t is now equal to 1. Now you have to have it equal to this to start. It doesn't make any sense. Poison duration would then be equal to 3 minus 1, which is 2. Three minus 1, which is 2, would add 2 to it, and then we'd say poison equals negative t plus duration. Is equal to 2. Why is this problem so confusing? Length I plus plus. poison duration plus equals time series length. Oh, not poison duration, poison end. Not if it's greater, so if it's less than. Yeah. I'm not certain. Yeah, I think I just need to either get more sleep or like I'm not even thinking. For some reason I just can't think. So I'm gonna pause here